What's up, everybody? Welcome back to West Coast Podcast. It is your boy, the final boss. And on this series, brought to you by the main man, Zach, we are reviewing all of the Ultimate Marvel series. This time, it's Ultimate Black Panther issue number 1. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Hit the like button, subscribe button. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought of the series. Give us your ranking and what are some of your favorite parts and what are you excited to see what's going to come. But as for this video, let's jump right into Black Panther Ultimate issue number 1. With this series, coming from a guy who's jumping back into comics, haven't read too many comics in years, my latest interpretation with Black Panther is from the MCU. So coming into this one, immediately what grabbed me from this comic is the art style. The art style is amazing. That is a 10 out of 10 from your boy. I love what they did here. A lot of really good stuff, man. Every character looks distinct. I love the different colors they have going on in here. I love the outfits. Let's not beat around the bush, man. Peep the drip. Black Panther sitting on the throne looking like a boss. I need him to start getting into some action here. He's getting a little hesitant. He's playing diplomat a little too much. But in next issues, we got to see him get into some action. But the art style is amazing. Black Panther looked great. Shuri, who they call the Woman of Arms, looking great. I think she's going to have a big role. I think she might even take over for T'Challa at some point. But this is a great start. Also, one of my favorite parts of the comic was the drawing when they had Killmonger and they introduced Storm, Wind Rider. That looked amazing. Every character looks distinct. Every character has a great look, very well detailed. And the outfits and the designs are really well done. Shout out to the artwork for this comic, number 1. Number 2, to get into the story, the maker, aka the evil Reed Richards, has made a world where superheroes did not get their powers. Now he's locked up, and his advisors, if you will, the people he's put in charge of different sectors of the world are running roughshod. And in this timeline in Africa, Ra and Khonshu, who are going by the name of Moon Knight, are in control of Africa, and they're running roughshod, destroying villages and cities, just having their army going after civilians. So this part of the story, definitely a messed up situation. This is another difference we're seeing with Ra and Khonshu as a consequence of no superheroes in the Ultimate timeline, because in comics prior to this, we usually don't see them on the same side. Also in this timeline, Wakanda has not revealed themselves to the world. We're seeing some parallels, I believe, with the MCU. As we go further in the story, we see T'Chaka is still alive. Some notable missing people from T'Challa and his court. We don't see Nakia. We also don't see his mother. So some people missing from the typical storyline of Black Panther and T'Challa. And I think this again goes to what we see in the differences so far in the characteristics of T'Challa and not having that person push him to want to go for change or want to open up Wakanda. We're not seeing that in this storyline so far. And that leads me to another thing I got to point out, another key difference here. We see T'Challa has married Okoye as opposed to Nakia, as we see in the MCU, as opposed to a Storm, as we see in most comics. So some of those key differences there. And this T'Challa, I feel like we got a very isolated T'Challa who's not really the one who's going to spearhead change for Wakanda and break from the mold, bring them into the world, start protecting people, getting involved in other disputes. This is a very closed off T'Challa who has his dad still in his corner, still alive, advising him in a sense. And I feel like we're not really getting that T'Challa that, for me, this is a T'Challa I don't really like. I'm not really liking this character right here. Some other things to note, as you guys may see when you read this comic, Okoye and T'Challa, my boy, they sleeping in separate beds. What's up with that? And as you see that, you got to think about what Okoye's lineage is. As you know, she's all about her country and all about duty. And I don't think this is really a marriage out of love. I think this is a marriage out of duty and what tradition is. So I don't think they really have that kind of relationship that we've seen T'Challa have with a Nakia, with a Storm, what brings a different side of him out. And with this relationship, all about tradition, I don't think we're going to get that T'Challa who breaks the mold. It's going to take a lot to really do that. But one of the good things about this story, which we've seen, it's a lot of setup. So I'm looking forward to seeing T'Challa have a new trigger, a new reason to become the Black Panther, not just the protector of Wakanda, but the superhero, the Avenger that we've come to love in other comic iterations. One of the other shocking things that diverged from most comics was seeing Storm, who's going by Wind Rider in this story, being romantically linked, being in partnership with Killmonger of all people. And the other thing with Killmonger too, in this story, in this world, we're seeing a Killmonger who is stepping up for the little man, stepping up for the person in need, which kind of goes with his character in a sense. We know Killmonger to be the one to go against the grain, to more the Malcolm X in this situation. Instead of him going evil and going completely off the board, so far, this is still issue 1. So far, it just seems like without a Black Panther, without a world full of superheroes, he didn't need to turn evil. He was more of the big guy stepping up that can make some change. So that's an interesting thing to see, and I'm very curious to see how we see Killmonger in the later issues, and eventually that interaction between Killmonger and this version of T'Challa. One of the characters that pretty much stay the same, no matter if they're superheroes or not, no matter what changes, T'Challa's sister Shuri, who, in like most iterations, questions authority, doesn't really follow the tradition, has a mind of her own. So it's good to see her pretty much stay the same no matter what's going on and have that little bit of a rebel attitude, if you will. And she instantly, in the story, when you read it in the beginning, when T'Challa and his people's spies come back with information of a nearby village being attacked, and quickly T'Challa said that doesn't concern him. We're not going to put Wakanda at risk of being exposed, even though it would be good to do to help other people out. Shuri was not fully on board with her brother's decision. So all in all, a very strong start to this series. I'm very interested to see what big time Shuri has in store. She has some main character vibes going on. I'm very interested to see if there's going to be any friction with T'Challa and Okoye going forward, considering both of them are very strong on country and duty and tradition. Okoye doesn't really change, doesn't waver. We might see some change in T'Challa. Also Killmonger and Wind Rider. I'm very interested in some story with them. That's going to be some cool stuff. Definitely check out Ultimate Black Panther. But before I close out, I got to talk to T'Challa because I'm not really feeling him right now. T'Challa, Black Panther, I'm looking at you. And there's no way you're going to let someone walk into your house, into your kingdom, eat your food, blow up your palace, the palace your ancestors built. I'm looking at you, T'Challa. What are you going to do about it?